Welcome to the inUpowers podcast, where we give a name and a face to emotion. We discuss the real and raw when it comes to mental and emotional health. We are here to teach you that emotions are information and behavior is a choice. We want to help you make safer connections through healthy communication by empowering you to understand what your emotions are telling you. I'm your host, Tami. Let's get started. Welcome to the inUpowers podcast. I'm Tami, your host, and today we're going to talk about two of our emotion characters, or inUpowers. The first one will be OC, and the second one will be SIS. But before we talk about our characters, I'd like to do our Moments Minute. Have you ever caught yourself being driven, but not driving? Do you know what I mean by that? I mean, are you so focused on the goal, it doesn't matter who you burn to get there? Is your focus so on perfectionism or trying to get it just right that you're driven? Because driven sounds really good. But when you realize that that is more important than the people and the actual goal, and you're not in control because it controls you, you're not driving. We are asking you to be driving and not driven. We want you to be in control of your tomorrows. We want you to see and experience everything it takes to become what you want to be. The Olympics are over, and it was amazing to see all of their hard work get for all of these athletes, but not all of them got the medal they dreamt of. And if they were driven instead of driving, what happens now? But if they're driving, they're in control of their tomorrows. They were in control of that opportunity and wherever that opportunity led them. If you're driving, your tomorrows take you to the destination you want to go to. And with that, we are going to talk about OC and SIS, which kind of works perfect for OC. OC, the emotion OC, is obliviously selfishly incinerating. Yeah, she's got the biggest name and she's always first. She is a fireball headed straight to the top, and perfectionism is all that matters to her. In fact, her red high heel shoes say all about me. However, the thing is inside, she's really insecure. She's driven to get to the top, and she's a blaze of glory, and she doesn't matter who she's going to burn to get to the top. And not only that, she looks really alluring from the distance. Like every piece of her is perfect. Her eyes are perfect, her nails are perfect, her heels are perfect. She's all put together. But in the inside, she's just in shambles. She's obliviously selfishly incinerating. Her perfectionism, her driven goals, and no matter what, no matter who she burns to get there, just destroys everyone around her. And a little spark can burn. Somebody that is like, they call it A personalities. In fact, there's a little secret in her heels. They have A's in them so that you can see it, but they're unstable high heels because it takes a lot of effort to always appear perfect. And, there's a lot of accolades and good that can come from all of that, right? Like, oh, wow, look how driven they are, and look how they got to number one, and look at that A personality, which is great, except when it burns you. When being number one is more important than building the team and building each other and getting where we honestly want to go. Her look is a flame. And her spew, which is like the extra that she spits out at you, is fiery, like ambers that can catch fire somewhere else. And if you've ever been around a really big fire, you can see the destruction. And you can't grow anything on barren ground, which is also the kind of footprint when you're having an OC moment can leave. You can leave people hurt. And her behaviors are to appear perfect, to appear to have it all together, to appear to not need anyone, to appear to be unstoppable. But when she stops and she looks in the mirror, she knows who she really is. And to her, she's not much of anything unless she's accomplishing something. And she doesn't believe she's enough. And even if she thinks she's enough, she knows that her flame has to be brighter than yours for her to be okay. And being caught in a humble moment or a scary moment or needing to be taught is just infuriating to her, because why didn't she already know that? Have you ever been like that? Have you ever had a moment like that in your life where the fear of failing or the worry of looking a certain way or impressing a certain person or making it to the top was so much more valuable than the people around you or even the goal? Have you ever raced on a hike to hurry and get it done and be like, oh, it's over? The ending's never the best part. It's always the journey. That's why she's obliviously selfishly incinerating. She just thinks if she gets to the next goal, if she gets to the next destination, if she can get to the top, if she could just be so great, then everything's going to be okay. The problem is there's always another goal to get to. There's always another top. Once you're at the top of this mountain, you just see the other mountain, or you see the clouds, or you see the sky, or you see the stars. You see where you're not. And if you're always looking at what you're not, you're never enough. OC is obliviously selfishly incinerating because she's hurting and she's hollow. However, the other characters we're talking about are not. They're sis. They're your eyes. Have you ever heard somebody say, oh, I see the light in their eyes? That's sis. Soul integrity siblings. They're truth and respect. They're the light in our eyes. In fact, if you were to see the character, you could see that they have really cute clothes and their eyeballs and their hair looks like eyelashes. Well, they are their eyelashes. And they have the moon and the stars and the sun on their feet. And they're yellow and indigo. And they're always together. In fact, soul integrity siblings, you will always see them with their gold handshake because they're better together. You can have truth and not have respect, and that can be pretty hurtful. And you can have respect and not have truth, which is just a lie. So together, truth and respect, now that's a powerful duo. And they are our eyes, and they are searching and seeking and looking for the good in the world. And they find it because you find what you're looking for and you find what you're focused on. If I'm talking about OC, she's just focusing on what's next. What's the next great thing? What's the next big accomplishment? What's the next thing? But sis, with truth, they're looking for what's honorable and good and true. And our souls know truth. Our souls can feel truth. And respect, she's special. Not only are they a set of eyes, but respect has a wandering eye, but it's intentional. Because respect is different in different homes and in different cultures and with different families. And together with truth and respect, and they're working and searching and intentionally trying to find the good, guess what? They find it. If you're looking for what you're not, you're going to find it. But if you're looking for what you are, you'll find it too. We always find what we focus on. Sis's B are joyful and light and believing and hoping and curious. Those aren't bad things. Those are great things. And they don't mind if they fall down because they get up. But when they fall down, they might see an ant or a bug or a rock that they've never seen before because the world is full of things to find. And they're looking for the good in the people and the truth. And sometimes we can get so stuck on the truth we want justice. But justice doesn't always equal respect. And respect is just as important. Understanding somebody's perspective and their lifestyle and the way they were born to be and what they've learned is very important as well, because then together with truth and respect, you can see someone else's light. And instead of being threatened by their light, like OC, who will just get burned brighter, their light shines from within. And that's what cis soul integrity siblings represent. It's the light within our own souls. It's who we're meant to be. And it shines out their eyeballs. And their being is just good and joyful and happy and exploring and searching the world for all of its wonder. And they are happy to be a part of it. Also, when you're having a cis moment, you rarely recognize it. In fact, we are normally in our proactive state, but our mind might be in the reactive state because you're fighting a war in your head. I've heard it for years. It doesn't matter. People have wars in their heads. Fights that never actually come to be in showers and in cars. That I'm going to say this and I'm going to say that and all of this stuff. And we get so focused on what our head is saying, which is how OC lives. But SIS, they focus on what their heart is saying. And they live by that. You probably have more SIS, soul integrity siblings moments, more light, more searching, more good, more joy, more fun, more aha moments and twinkles. And have you ever looked at a child that's learning to play a new toy? Do they get devastated and frustrated because they can't figure it out? Or when they start to walk, if they fall down, do they throw a tantrum? Are they mad at themselves when they couldn't get to their mom or their dad or their guardian? No. They just get up and keep going because they know that that's what it takes to learn. Those are SIS moments. OC's moments are when you sit down at a piano I've never played before and expect yourself to play Mozart. Or you saw somebody else do a DIY whatever and you're trying to do it yourself and it's definitely not turning out like what you thought. And then you're so frustrated with yourself because you couldn't be as great as the person that taught you. You're not meant to sit down on a piano and play Mozart. Most people know that it takes practice and lessons and timing. And yes, there are few in the world prodigies. But for the most part, practice is how we get there. Time, patience, looking, trying. Joy comes when you fall down, get up, and do it a little better the next time. Joy comes when you're in control of the journey. Not because you got to the end of the journey, but because while you were going through the journey, you saw everything. Your heart and your body and your brain are living in more positive moments than not. And the media, lots of media, could tell you that it's terrible out there, which it is. There is ugly in the world, but there's a lot of good too. And if you're looking for the ugly or you're looking for the next goal or you're driven to the next task, you're going to also get there. But that's not what it's about. It's about enjoying it, feeding your light, shining bright, sharing what you know with others, and helping them get there too. Being number one is nothing if you're there by yourself. Being number one with all the people that built you to become number one and sharing your victory with the army that made you great, that's the gift. That's the true successes in the world. That's where you see the elation, not just from the athlete we saw in the Olympics, but also from their family members who worked so hard and sacrificed so that they could become that Olympian we all cheered for. The inUpowers podcast is to remind you that you're a human just like the rest of us. And you might have OC moments where you're driven and not driving, and where the goal and who you have to burn and how you have to get the top and what's alluring and attractive to you could be. And then stopping and pausing that's not fueling yourself with all of that burn and all of that fire can get exhausting. But if you have innate light within and you shine with that light and you share the good and you share it with those you love, and you build yourself with truth and respect, then you're truly shining. Then you're leading a way and a life that others need. We want to invite you this week to be driving, to be in control. Recognize the goal, recognize the team, recognize the truth and the respect and the people in the world, and see the light that is in you shine out, and look for the light in others. If you are driving and you're in control, the goal is where you choose it to go. The goal isn't telling you how to get there. You're deciding how to get to your goal. And remember, emotions are information, behavior is a choice, and you are brilliantly made to be great. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the inUpowers podcast. We are grateful you are here. Please share this podcast with those you know who might need it, and follow and rate us so we can continue providing this podcast to you. Follow us on social media to see more visuals about the inUpowers, and join us next week for another episode. Until then, remember, the power to choose is in you.